So we're just going to try this. This is going to be a one-shot sort of session. We'll play it for a couple hours or whenever we die, and then we'll see how it goes. So let's start a new game right away. And there we go. So we've got a difficulty setting to choose from first. You've got the map seed over here. So if anyone wants to play on, say, the exact same seed as me, let's go ahead and call this one 18, 18, 18. So 4 18s over there. And let's go. Oh, we got our first tip of the day in. Who dat? Who dat? It's Baron 2. Thank you very much, Baron. Gonna start the stream off right. Glad I could catch it live. Here's to hoping you can find some good scotch in this apocalyptic wasteland. Well, thank you very much. I don't know if there's any alcohol or anything in this game, but after the stream, since I will be going and I'm gonna be visiting my parents for a day, I'm definitely gonna stop by the liquor store on the way and pick up some. I'll spend some of our whiskey fund on some good stuff to bring over to my folks. So, cheers. Thank you very much. Who's that? Joe Luoto with 36 month. Hey, Joe Luoto with a 3-year resub. I still remember Joe Luoto being one of our characters in Darkest Dungeon, which is probably something I should take another crack at. I don't think I've played it since the official 1.0 release, which was a while ago, and now they came out with the DLC and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to open up my my list of subscribers here because we're going to be naming some people after some subs going into this. Hopefully the internet works out okay today. I had big problems with it yesterday and even earlier this morning. So, cross your fingers that there's no sort of bizarre internet outages, which could be a big pain in the ass. Alright, so we're going to be starting off... Whoops, I accidentally hit the random button, which is not what I meant to do. I just wanted to make sure the window had focus here. Didn't realize that way over here is also the random button. So you start with 3 survivors. In fact, there's going to be a little bit of story when we start into the game that'll explain some of the background here. I'm kind of digging this trio. We've got an engineer who's a vegan hippie. We've got an occultist who's a geek and an alien abductee and another hippie. Ooh, hippies can't fight. That might be a problem. And we've got a priestess, who's a country person. Okay, you know what? We've got way too many farming speed bonus. This is not a very balanced group. Because we've got 1 million people who can farm, which is great, but we don't really have anyone who can fight early on. So, let's give it another roll, see what we get. We've got a fighter. So, first at the top is their class. The class represents what their preferred type of jobs will be, as well as when they level up, you can spend talents to give them certain extra traits, and their class determines what traits are available for that. Double survivalist. Let's try to get a trio of different classes again. Okay, so here's an engineer who's a crafter, but is short-sighted, so he's got less vision range. That's okay, we can live with that. This fighter, Brittany, is a brute for bonus damage, but can't research very well. That's okay. She's a believer, so she's really into Canadian pop music. Okay, bonus research speed for occult. Oh, that's interesting. Well, that just cancels out to 0. And a gardener for bonus farming speed, which is going to be really nice to have. And then we've got a survivalist over here, Ronald, who's just a woodcutter. This could work. I like this. Do you guys like this? I think this will work. Let's go ahead and rename these folks. So, instead of being Jimmy, you are going to be Citizen. Yep, it's actually Citizen 666, which is super appropriate for the setting here. We can re-roll all the looks. We can change, well, it's hair, but it's like basically sort of changing the entire head in a way. Face, skin color, clothing. I think I'll leave these in here. That's perfectly fine. Instead of Brittany, you are going to be 001 Rosie. I might call you Rosie, which is, I'm sure, not how you envision your name being pronounced, but it might be the way it goes. And this might be too long. The Pablo Sanchez is your actual name. Can we just call you Sanchez? Hopefully that does not bother you, that we just choose that half of your name instead of the other half. But I think De Pablo would be a little odd, but Sanchez is, like, pretty good. So we're going to go with that. Okay, I think this is going to be our starting group, as the chat thinks. Occult weapons equals beating someone with a giant wooden pentagram. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Sort of. Alright, let's get it started. So this is a game in early access. Lots of things are probably likely to change. There's probably a lot of systems that are not yet implemented. There might be some crashes. There could be all kinds of things. For example, there was no loading bar on that screen over there. So here's the initial story. While out camping, four of you, were attacked by a single powerful creature. Together, you barely managed to take it down, but Ned didn't make it. What is it with people named Ned dying early in a series of things? That seems kind of odd. All around, more red eyes told of awful things looming in the shadows. You grabbed your supplies and made your way back to town, only to find it has been overrun, burning under a red sky. The apocalypse has begun. The three of you made your way to a nearby hidden valley that you used to hike to. It seems safe for now. You should set up camp. Start with a shelter and a place to eat and rest. So you always have sort of an active kind of mission, which is just going to guide you through the process. There's an actual tutorial, but then there's a sort of like soft tutorial here, in a sense that like encourages you to progress in the correct way. Oh, poor Ned. Yes, have to pay respects to Ned. Ned is the zombie king. Oh, could be. So our first task that the game encourages us to do is to build a log cabin with a food table and a bed. So I'm just going to pause the game over here. So this area here is the area where we are going to be building our base. This is what we're developing. Hopefully the sound is actually a thing here. Yeah, okay, good. This is the area we're actually going to be building our base in. We've got some trees, we've got some rubble that we can search for scraps, we've got a well over here that we can get some fresh water out of, we've got some rocks, we've got some clay. There's going to be some metal resources that can be mined later, but I think we need a technology for that. Yeah, that about covers it in our starting area. But the emphasis on this game is well, I mean, there's still a base building aspect, but it really is paired very evenly with doing things on the world. So this is where our base is right over here. But then there are notable sites all around. So here we've got some sort of farmhouse, some more houses over here. We've apparently got some sort of shopping center over here. We've got a military base. That's quite interesting. And it's a random world, but when we push out, like, we can explore this fog of war over here, we'll probably find cities. They are really overrun by powerful demons, so on and so forth. And by clicking on these, you can also get a bit of an idea as to what you might find. So we think, based on our scouting, that there might be a couple of imps here. So it's a demon-infested post-apocalyptic world. And we're likely to find water and wood over here. Whereas the houses here would have water, this one here would have some more scraps. The military bases often have, okay, arrows in this case. Sometimes they have other types of special items, like binoculars or something like that, that you can equip your groups with. You can actually even filter the view here. So, like, show me all the sites with water. There's 4 of them. And if we do that, it'll just highlight them, which is awfully nice. We'll be looking at that relatively soon. But let us go ahead and set up the initial shelter over here. Who opened the Hellgate? Well, we'll find out soon. So, this is a game where, much like RimWorld, Dwarf Fortress, and a lot of other games like this, you don't issue individual commands to your characters most of the time. You can force them to do something faster, or you can sort of like grab them for like military operations. But normally you mostly just flag jobs. You say like, listen, this tree over here, I would like this tree to be cut. It puts a little icon over there. You can use this Create Tasks menu to more quickly do this in a batch. Say, cut all these trees down, for example. We probably want a few of these stones chopped, and it'd be nice if someone collected scraps from, say, one of these rubble piles over here. The other thing we can do is build. We know that we need at least some sort of log cabin in general, because most of the objects that you can plop down can only be plopped down in inside of a building. So we need a building for that, plus the quest is sort of hinting. We've got a couple of shaped log cabins here. We don't build walls just sort of freely and willy-nilly here. We plop down predefined sort of log cabin shapes and then build inside of that. We will have technology that will unlock more stuff over here in the future. So let's take the slightly bigger log cabin here. It's a 5x4 area, which leaves it 3x2 areas of usable space inside. So I'm just going to pop it here, not too far from the well, which is kind of handy. I can rotate this building. Maybe I'll go and put it down something like this. That seems just fine. So I'll go ahead and unpause. Our characters will start to do things. If we do, we can go into priorities over here to see what jobs everyone has, and we can order them in a variety of different ways. Anyone with a green arrow, that means that for this character's class, this is their preferred job, so they'll gain XP faster if they're doing this. And then at the bottom, you also have an indication as to their bonus to performing various actions over here. So Rosie's quite good at farming. Citizen 666 is quite good at crafting, which is going to be important. And he actually gets bonus XP from building, so I'm going to prefer that he do more of the building over there if we can. Sanchez obviously loves to chop forests, and he's really fast at it, so that'll be a really important thing for him to maybe focus on, since he's by far going to be the best. We've got our log cabin down. Let's go ahead and prop down a couple other things we need. We need a bed to get started. The first bed is going to be free for us with no need for material, so I'm going to plop that down there. And we also need one food table. This is where survivors eat. This is also where they'll prep meals. You can't eat raw food directly. It always has to be converted into a meal, although early on, the only meal we can make will be salads. How we doing? Good? Excellent. So I finished the first mission. Now our task is going to be to learn to farm. You now have a base of operations, but you're far from safe. Your supplies won't last forever. So over here we've got 30 prepped meals and 70 units of water. If you don't find a food and water source, you won't live long enough to worry about those creatures finding you. Before you can grow your own food, you need to learn how. So we have to build an experiment table to be able to research farming. So if we go back into build, we've got the experiment table over here. And again, this is an example of the first one is free for us, so we can plop it down there. People can path around and through these objects perfectly fine, so you don't have to worry about blocking the door or access to some of the other structures. I'm going to go and plop it down like that. That's going to be fine. So they'll still be able to get to the bed and here, because you can see they can get around. It's going to be fine. Can you tame the demons? As far as I know, not, but I don't know. Now, I don't remember. Do we actually have someone who is good at researching? Now, Citizen 666 enjoys researching. He's not particularly good at it. Rossi's very bad at it. And Sanchez doesn't particularly have a preference for it either. So, most likely, if the Citizen isn't building or isn't crafting, we're just going to have him researching, which is what you're hearing right now. With the blub, 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 blub. How you craft weapons, their inventory. So, each character has 3 slots. They have a slot for a weapon. So, you can see the hand over here. They have a slot for their body armor. And then they have a slot for some sort of extra equipment. This can range from something like a shield or binoculars that give you just a flat bonus to something that they can use like medicine or so on and so forth. There's a crafting menu over here. So you never, we are going to put down a crafting table soon, but you don't queue up jobs at the crafting tables like you might in, say, Minecraft. RimWorld. Crafting. Anyway, instead, from your crafting menu, you globally ask and say, hey, could someone build me some clubs? Like 1, 2, 3 clubs like this. We're going to need that for something. I'm just going to wait. I'll build the one. We're going to come back to that in a second, because that's actually going to be the next step in our little mission. I want to showcase the mechanic, the system. I want to showcase the fact that it's going to prompt us to do this. Otherwise, I think it'll sort of mostly just skip through it really fast. And that would be boring. So, people are out. We're collecting goods. Sanchez here, he's looking through the rubble. The rubble had some medicine, which he also collected, which is going to be good, and some more of the scraps that we'll use to build a variety of things. Just miscellaneous bits and bobs and whatever. So, we have enough science here to research farming. Only takes 5 science to unlock this. It unlocks the vegetable farm, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So now our mission advances. You figure out how to farm. Use this knowledge and build some farms. They will provide steady supply of food. Resources are running low, but there are plenty lying around in the area. You can chop trees for wood, quarry for stone and clay, or search debris for scraps. So we have to build 2 vegetable farms next. So right over here, vegetable farms require 30 scraps, 16 wood, and 10 stone to set up. Mostly for the fences, I think. So we've got a mission to plop down 2 of those. I think I'll just put them down here. I'll queue them both up. What the heck, right? And I think what I'll do is also get these trees to be chopped. People can move through trees. I think they might move through a little more slowly, but we don't have much wood left in our inventory at this point, so getting more would be quite good. So I'm going to let that finish. Citizen 666 is going to go to work on it. Uber Shroom! Hey, thank you very much! Why does every survival game have to have some crazy thing to it? I wish there was realistic survival. No nukes, no zombies, no demons. Like what, you're just lost in the woods kind of thing? Oh, there's Long Dark. I guess. I mean, usually it's like, there's got to be a reason why you can't just, like, go back to civilization and, like, you know, go shopping at Whole Foods instead of starving to death. I think is part of it. So we're good on food. Citizen is having a nap. We only have one bed, and in fact, it's going to take a long time before we can get a second bed, mostly because beds both need boards, not just wood, but boards that have been processed in a sawmill, and also need wool, which, unless we get really lucky and can find it on the world map, we mostly have to wait until we can get to farming, so we can raise sheep to get more wool. So they're going to have to, like, share the bed. Luckily, the characters don't sleep very long to recharge themselves. So 3 people can definitely get by with one bed. At 4 or 5, there might be some people hitting tiredness every now and again, but you're mostly going to be okay. But past that, you're really going to need to figure out more bed stuff. There we go. See, someone's tired. Sanchez over here is tired. While he's tired, I think he does everything at like half speed. Certainly fights half as well, so that's something we're going to have to resolve. First one of the farms is down. Let's make sure. Is someone set up for farming? Oh, yeah. Rossi does not prefer the job, so won't get bonus XP, but performs it relatively quick, so that'll be higher priority. One of the things that will get you playing this game is your vegetable farms. All your farms require water to grow. So your characters will constantly go and bring water to the farms to keep them topped off so they can grow. And that's important because you need food. But if you do build too much farming, you can quickly find yourself running out of water. Now, you can draw water from the well. It's a job you basically just turn on. By doing this, you'll say, okay, I want water. And then, you know, whenever someone gets to it in their priority queue, then they will go ahead and fetch some water. Which, I mean, I guess we might want Sanchez to do it, for example, because he's actually got some preference for it. But we're not too hard up on water yet. We can do without for a little bit longer. Oh, City Under Siege, the Civil War. This War of Mine's a good game for that. Yeah, that's right. That would be an excellent sort of setting for a non... I mean, there's still some sort of horrible problem going on, but yeah, it doesn't have to be, you know, mystical or weird. It doesn't have to be zombies or demons. That's true. So Sanchez is going to go to work over here. Citizen still doing some research. We've got quite a bit of research accrued here. We need 20 for the ability to make armor, and we need 30 for the ability to grow wheat and start making bread. Under crafting, we need, 30 to unlock the ability to build a sawmill and get boards and also better weapons. And speaking of weapons, we need 60 research to unlock the ability to make composite bows. Okay, we've got both farms set up, so now we get the next mission here. These farms should keep you fed for now, but when your colony grows, you will need to build more farms. Remember, you can't eat raw food. You will need to constantly prepare meals. Keep an eye on your water supply, too. Gather water from a nearby well when it starts to run low. Now that you've got some basic supplies, you should prepare to defend yourselves. Make some weapons. Now, a couple of things. One, this kind of caught me the first time. There is no cooking job in here. Crafting is the cooking job. So you need to make sure that there's a fairly high-rated person doing crafting. So I like Citizen here. He'll build if there's something to build. If there's nothing to build, he'll craft. And then finally, when all crafting jobs are satisfied, then he will research. And I think that's a good sort of cue for him over here. Now, our mission is craft 3 clubs. But as far as I can tell, that mission is actually scripted to be craft 3 weapons in general. So we have 1 club right now. What I could do is just go up to 3, and I will build 1 more, but instead of a 3rd club, I'd much rather have a bow. Now, we need a workbench to be able to craft arrows and bows, so we're going to go ahead and plop one of those down. So workbench over here, take scraps, wood, and stone, and we're going to plop it down into this room. And so Citizen, as soon as he, reorganizes what his job will be... Oh, actually, he started constructing it right away. He stopped researching instantly to start building. Love it. Now, one of the things you can do in the crafting menu, you'll notice that our salad over here, which is one of the meals we have to prepare, has this yellow A icon over here. Now, what you can do is you can right-click on an item to get more information about it, but it also gives you the ability to enable auto crafting, which your salad has it enabled by default. So it will automatically start crafting salads if we fall below 30 food, and if we hit above 50 food, it will tell the person to stop working on it at that time. So this will automatically try to keep our number of salads between 30 and 50. We need vegetables to make salads, so we have to wait for our first vegetable harvest to happen, but other than that, we will get there. And our farms are growing. You can see our maturity over here. Oh, this one needs to be watered. That's why there's this. Someone's already queued up that job. We could cancel it. If we were getting desperate for water, we could say, we'll hold off a little bit here. But it's going to be okay. I think Rossi's going to bring over some water. Curious to see how much our totals might change. I guess it didn't. It must have already changed when Rossi came over to do the job. But we'll get some veggies soon. Yeah, I know. How long did it take us in RimWorld to have, like, this sort of workflow auto-crafting stuff? And in Dwarf Fortress, it's still something that you need, like, an external mod for. So it's very nice to see that built in from day one. I think that's very important. Like, you can't automate all the things because part of it is forcing the player to manage and do things, right? And keep the player busy. But this is the sort of thing that I think should be automated from the start. So again, I could build the third club to go and, you know, finish this quest right away, but I'm going to wait until we've got the work lab open and just get a bow. I think 2 melee people plus 1 range person is like a good sort of sweet number over there. So Sanchez still getting us these scraps. I'll let him finish this. I won't necessarily queue up one of these other locations to be picked clean yet. Although we will want to soon for 2 reasons. 1, we'll always need more scraps. And 2, you know, these things are in my way, so I would like to remove them at some point. There are no zombies in this. There will be enemies. Let me go and speed up the time here. There will be enemies, but they're not zombies. They're mostly demon-type things. No, this is not a sponsored video. I mean, I did get a code for this for free. I'm pretty sure. I must have. But other than that, it's not a sponsored thing. No siege weapons that I'm aware of, but I haven't gone that far down. I haven't even gotten to guncraft. Or pneumatic weapons. I don't think I even got to metal weapons. I think I've unlocked crossbows in like one of my test games, and that was as far as I got. And I haven't been looking down the list because I didn't want to sort of spoiler myself, but swords, advanced firearms, assault rifles, that sounds pretty good. And yeah, there's also the occult tree that you research with occult research points. That's got extreme crafting. Protection crosses, blessed pistol. Hey, I watched enough Supernatural to know how that works out. You can also get your people to perform rituals to do things. Oh, demon binding. No demon stamina? Summoning? Wait, you can summon your own demons? What? Mutation? Mutate soul? Yeah, we're gonna come back to that. But like, there's things here. Oh, someone got a first level up. Citizen 666 got his first level up. So let's pause the game while we consider this. So he is now a level 1 engineer, and he gets to pick a talent. So we can improve his construction speed, his mining and quarrying speed, or his research speed. I think, since Citizen's actually doing a fair bit of research for us, I think improving his research makes the most sense. Because right now, we've got Citizen the Engineer. He builds, he crafts, then he researches in that order, and then he might do other things. So I think he's mostly going to be spending his time doing research. So we're going to go and level him up that way, giving him a 40% speed boost. Very handy. And it shows up over here, too, which is really very sexy. I think we can all agree. Groovy. Okay, so the workbench is built. So now we can build the bow. You build a stack of arrows, and then you build the bow as a component. You don't actually have ammunition as far as I can tell in this game, so that's good, because micromanaging ammunition sounds boring. As soon as you build your third weapon, the mission advances, and we are going to be attacked. Now, luckily, we're going to be attacked by just a single imp, as far as I can tell, as part of this mission. So again, serves as sort of a bit of a soft tutorial to get you going here. So, whenever an attack happens your base, you get a moment to prepare your defenses and guarantee, that you're equipping your people here. I don't think anyone's got anything that is giving them bonuses or penalty to like ranged or melee or anything like that. I'll get the fighter to be one of the meleeers. The survivalist can be a meleeer as well, let's say. and the engineer can have a bow. Actually, I think the survivalist can level up to have bonus archery stuff later on. So you know what? I'll give the survivalist the bow and the club to the engineer. We'll approve this defense plan, and then an imp has entered the playing field here. When there's an enemy on your map, there is no ability to craft or anything like that, and you get a different set of interactions with your characters. When you have them selected, you can right-click to move them around, and you also see an attack range around them. So you can see the melee attack range, and then the person with the bow over here is going to be that. So I'm just going to try to move over this way so that we're not fighting the imp in the forest too much. I'm going to right-click there. People will automatically attack anyone within their radius if they're not moving. By right-clicking on someone, you can force your people to go over there and attack that one person. That'll cause my archer to stand still, and it'll cause my meleeers to run over there. You can get bonuses to hit. If I take Rosie over here and move Rosie up here and then attack, there we go. You'll get a little arrow over here because we are flanking. So you get a bonus to accuracy and damage when you are flanking an enemy. So we'll take out the imp very easily, as expected. You know, just a little tutorial-y kind of fight. Imps, really easy to kill. The threat of these monsters, though, scales up dramatically. The first few encounters, you'd be like, this is too easy, I don't even understand. And then, oh, everyone just died. So, we got some XP from fighting. We collected a little bit of sulfur as loot from killing the demons. And we got our kill. So, the mission is going to advance forward. That was close, but next time you might not be so lucky. In order to survive, you can't just keep your head low. You need to figure out what is going on out there and gather supplies from nearby towns. You might want to make some better weapons before heading out. You already know how to make basic bows. It's also worth noting, oh, someone is being chased by enemy creatures we know about. We know that there's another, just figured out there's another survivor out there somehow. I don't know, maybe they sent up a flare or something, and we can go and rescue them. And we'll have another person in our base. That sounds pretty good. We've got this. This is our awareness bar. The more this bar gets filled, the more dangerous the attacks on our base will be. There are things we will do that will increase awareness, and there's things we will do that will decrease awareness. Having a low awareness bar doesn't mean you're not going to get attacked, but the attacks are going to be pretty trivial. But it does scale up pretty crazy. See ya, demigods! So yeah, this is a timed thing. There's a stranger that needs assistance. So do we want to go and do that? I might feel a little bit better if we actually had armor crafting unlocked. Well, we can unlock armor crafting. Let's make a couple of suits of armor real quick. So it takes 10 scraps. Yeah, let's go. We'll queue up all 3 over here. And get ourselves some suits of armor before we go out. Now, you can never go with your entire group. You always have to leave at least one person behind in the base. There's always a risk, though, when you leave your base on a task force, that your base back home could get attacked while your numbers are low. Very dangerous. So yeah, hopefully we can still get there in time, but I'm going to go and make the body armor. We got our first harvest. We got some tomatoes in. How lovely is that? So someone will make some food for us momentarily. So let me go and increase the game speed just a scooch. Oh, there we go. Meals are being made. First suit of armor has been made as well. We'll wait until there's at least a second one, then we'll send out a task force. Oh, Rosie's actually idle here. So we should make sure to queue up a few more tasks. Here, we're not doing any collecting. How are we on... Yeah, we need more wood as well. And we're going to start needing some water soon, so I'll make sure to re-enable that. Citizen, I need you to go and finish the body armor. There we go. Okay, so let's go to the world view here. There's where the first survivor is. Now, these will happen randomly from time to time as you play. As far as I can tell, the first one will always spawn after the first attack and will always be lightly defended by a single imp. So it's a very easy one to go. So let's create our first task force over here and select who's going to go. I'm thinking we're going to go with the fighter and the survivalist. We have to leave someone at home. Makes sense to send the fighter out, generally speaking. Again, the survivalist later on will, I believe, get a bonus to attack with ranged weapons. So that'll be quite good. And then we got one meleeer and one ranged person. Seems like a pretty sweet idea. So we're going to approve that task force. We're going to make sure that they're both equipped with armor over here. And we'll go. And I'm just going to right click over here and say send rescue. This will give us plus 15 awareness though. So rescuing people tends to shake things up quite a bit.